A man was searching for treasures in the sea. Suddenly, a huge wave came crashing towards him. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the flying donkey pulled the man up. Only then did the man notice the enormous creature in front of him was a giant whale chained up. When the giant whale saw Nick, it even shed tons of tears. Nick understood the giant whale was begging for help. The kind-hearted Nick decided to help the giant whale regain freedom. He got on the donkey and rushed into the giant whale's nostril. The donkey used the feathers on its wings to keep tickling the giant whale's nasal cavity. The giant whale immediately felt an unbearable itch all over its body. Then the primeval power in its body erupted involuntarily. A super big sneeze shot out like a volcanic eruption. The thick iron chains were finally broken. The giant whale finally got rid of the predicament and returned to the depths of the sea. To thank Nick, the giant whale sent a crayfish, which brought a diamond ring made of pure gold. Unexpectedly, this was exactly the heart of the ocean that the king wanted to retrieve. But Nick hesitated, because if the king got this ring, the princess would have no reason to refuse to marry the king anymore. It turned out that Nick had already fallen in love with the princess in his heart. He decided to take a desperate risk for the princess. Late at night, Nick planned to quietly elope with the princess. Unexpectedly, this scene was seen by a minister in the distance. As a result, before they could escape, they were arrested by the minister with soldiers. The king heard the commotion, picked up a weapon and came to the window. He saw the donkey in the distance. Without saying a word, he pulled the trigger directly. The donkey, pierced by the bullet, fell down from a high altitude. To save Nick, the princess told the king the secret of her immortality. But the cunning king was half believing. At this time, a minister beside him gave the king a bad idea. The next day, at the entrance of the palace, the soldiers pushed over 3 huge iron pots. The first pot was filled with boiling water. The second pot was seawater that could freeze a person into a popsicle instantly. The third pot was poisonous milk. As long as the king could pass through the 3 pots smoothly, he would gain immortality. But the cunning king didn't want to try easily. He pushed Nick down at once. Seeing this, the princess immediately took off her ring and quickly threw it into the pot. Nick successfully passed the first test. Then he fell into the freezing cold ice pot. In an instant, Nick's body was frozen into a popsicle. At this moment, the primitive true feather of the fire phoenix rushed into the pot. Nick successfully passed the second test again. But when Nick fell into the third poisonous pot, a white light suddenly flew from the sky.